Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Thursday night segment of The Outer Realm. Sorry for the delay, but we're doing this the old-fashioned way tonight. Even though you're seeing us on StreamYard, we're actually going via Skype for our guests in the UK. So we are broadcasting live, of course, on United Public Radio here. Well, we are the United Public Radio. I guess I better not say the other one. 105.3 FM from the beautiful city of New Orleans. This evening's segment, like all of our segments, are fully sponsored by the amazing folks over at Folgers Coffee. Thank you, Folgers. Tonight we welcome back two of our favorite compadres, Carl Cookson and Hamilton White, the Lost Relic Hunters. Note the new name. They'll get into that tonight. Season 2, people. They will be discussing a whole lot of stuff. It's always a bunch of shenanigans with them, and it's very much an unplugged segment, so we don't really know how it's going to go. We just get a lot of comments on it. People have a lot of fun, so just, be prepared for that. Now, where it's going to be a bit different tonight is, even though, like I said, you're seeing SoundCloud, and there's going to be a lot of comments coming up, we can't see them. We are on Skype tonight. The only ones that we can see is if you go to UFO Paranormal Radio Network YouTube page. Okay, subscribe if you haven't. Tag Amelia if you want a question or comment put forward. To those in Facebook, we apologize. We're not on the regular soundboard tonight. We just can't see it. So again, apologies. Sorry. So what we're going to do?
We're not on YouTube. I'm trying to tell you that. No, it still reads that we're not live for a few minutes. So I just text Joe. That's why I was holding up my phone.
We're
live.
You are live. You're just live on UFO. You're just on UFOs and extraterrestrials right now. It's not on the stream live connection yet.
No.
It won't be on there.
Yeah, we are live. I see us on live. Okay, yes. Good. Okay.
I'm on the wrong YouTube, and I've given the wrong link. Because it says reminder live in 2 minutes
UFO
and 5
Gods
seconds.
And Paranormal. We're not on the UFO.
And the other one is
you're gonna be on that one, but StreamYard hasn't caught up with the feed yet.
Okay, but it will come on.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that's okay.
We're gonna do what we have to do. So I'm just going to bring our guests in. So bear with me. Let me go with this. Okay. All right. Adding, and we're going to do another, and it's going to be Monaco, Hamilton, free on Skype.
Hi, how are you?
All right. Yeah, we could see you fine. We're just calling Hamilton.
How are you?
So.
Oh, I'm tired actually, but I'll liven up. I'm okay. I had a bit of a sleep before.
We're live now.
Hello.
Hi, Hamilton. Where are you? Can't see your handsome face. Where are you?
Hold on a second.
Where did he go?
Let me find myself. Hold on. How do I get the camera?
Find myself.
He's finishing the rest of a cheeseburger. It's okay.
Hang on. I can't.
It's okay.
Of course, you're going to be the one to start all this shenanigans stuff going on.
Always.
Look,
all right.
Get the camera.
We are recording. That much we do know. So we're actually on 9 different platforms tonight simultaneously.
Hear me?
I can hear you absolutely.
Right.
I just can't see you. So
tell me how to get the camera. I don't know how to do it.
click on the little icon that looks like a camera.
There isn't one.
On the top.
There isn't one.
They have no sound.
Maybe you clicked on the telephone icon instead.
If you look at the bottom, you'll see a little camera next to the microphone icon.
Hang on. I haven't got any icons at all.
Do you want to hang up and you want me to try you back?
Yeah, please. Can you do that? Because I've got no icons.
Of course you can do that.
Okay. Cheers.
We can do anything we want. It's our show. So, all right, hang up. I'll add you.
I hate the lighting in here.
Okay, I'm going to do this again.
My music went on again.
So free on Skype. Yes, this is what we want to do. That's what we were doing last time. So I don't know what's going on. Okay, we're going to try this again, people.
I just had Adele singing in my ear. This is one hell of a crazy night. Okay.
Get me started.
Mary Glenn says hi, Carl.
Yeah. There he is. All
You see
right.
me?
Yeah. Can you see us?
Yeah, I can see you. Yeah, sorry, before I got no icons, nothing.
There you are.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. All right. So the gang is all here. I was just telling Carl that we are streaming across 9 different platforms. So we're on Twitch, we're on Twitter, we are on like quite a few of the Facebook pages that belong to the network, and of course we're on 2 of the YouTube pages. So all over the place. So
Is that more than we've been on before then, is it?
Yes, usually we stream on, I believe, 6. Well, usually 6 or 7, I think, at a time. So now we are 9.
Wow. Okay.
Now it's all about charge.
Crazy.
That's what I said. I was like, wow, that's great.
Is this anything to do with your nomination for whatever award it was?
Yeah, it was a People's Choice Awards,
People's Choice,
and we did very well considering it was our first time, which was a surprise to us because we ended up in another category as well, which was like, wow, who knew? But you know, I know, but it's a whole other level, and we came close, but we didn't get to the second level, which we didn't expect to. But I think
we didn't expect to be nominated.
I know, let alone in 2 categories.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to go to a ceremony or a kind of dinner thing or
right. But you can't leave the country without a passport now.
That's
and
true.
I don't mean a regular passport. I mean a vaccination passport.
They want proof, the freaking people, if you can believe it. It's like the damn nerve. I know. So not yet. Not yet. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
So
everything's
anyway,
just opening up right now.
How are you guys?
Long journey, hasn't it?
I like it.
Yeah, I think we stopped filming about probably 5 or 6 weeks ago, and it was all broken up, the whole thing, and very difficult because it was with the COVID restrictions in Europe. It was like Pac-Man behind us, closing us down, and we just escaped from one country into another one, thinking, oh, we've got some time now to work. And the next thing we get news that in 2 days this country's getting locked down. Well, you can imagine the difficulty because you've got all this crew there. It's costing lots of money to do, and we've got to get them done. And we had Providence on our side. We managed to get everything done, but it was just like the doors closing down behind us. And,
oh right, I was trying to slide into the next one.
Yeah, it was like an Indiana Jones thing. There's big things coming down as to how we surviving this, and the whole sort of film went that way. But I suppose it focused us as well and made us really, really be on the ball to do the job. So we got it all done, didn't we?
My photo, I can't see anything again. It's all disappeared. Hold on a second.
How did you manage that? You haven't moved.
Nothing. I haven't touched it.
We can see
me?
you.
I can't see anything.
We see you fine.
Okay,
Turn your camera on.
No, I hadn't touched it. It just flashed off. I don't know why.
Oh, come on now.
Okay.
I can't find the other
Do we have
link,
to do
and
this
they
again?
Still can't hear us in this one.
Well, we could see you and we can hear you.
I don't know what it is. Maybe I've just got such an obsolete telephone that it's I don't know. Pass. It's all right at the moment. I hadn't touched it. It just all of the pictures just disappeared. That was all.
Okay.
Yeah, like Carl was saying, it's just even. We'd waited since March to get out on this last filming until things are supposed to be easier. But I mean, it still ended up, you're just banging your head against a wall. We couldn't get into Portugal again, which was very frustrating. The rules changed the day before we were supposed to go out there. We were in Spain, and all of a sudden it just comes up on the internet, oh, you can't get into Portugal now. So, oh, God.
Weren't you just in Portugal?
I was over there about 6 weeks ago, but while we were in Spain, they just changed the rules again. So we then ended up having to restructure the end of the filming because the end of it was supposed to be finishing up in Portugal and we can't go there. So it was very frustrating.
Well, you can't, I mean, to just say we'll just restructure it, it's got to have some logical meaning to the restructuring. So we really had to dig deep to find a cognitive sort of solution that would have made sense. And we did. And it's actually turned out better now because of it, which is kind of happens all the time, really.
Oh, so that's good. So at least it worked in your favor.
Yeah.
You know. Wow.
And we got to see some great places as well.
Right.
We was based in Barcelona on this trip, and that's a brilliant city to be in, you know. Right. But we don't get any tourism as what we're doing because it's, you know, you go there, you get to your hotel when you arrive, you know, have dinner, then go to bed, get up in the morning about 6. Mm-hmm. You go for breakfast, and you're probably on a location around about 8 o'clock. And then we get a bit of a lunch break. And then we're back, we're working till 8 o'clock at night. So we get back to the hotel, quick shower, go for dinner, go to bed. And it's that every day, you know. It's not like, you know, like when you're on holiday and you go, oh, look at that place over there. I think we'll have a look at that tomorrow. It's not tourism. It is, you know, it's a proper job, and it's quite structured in a way in terms of what we've got to achieve. Mm-hmm. So there's no rest for the wicked, really.
Never.
It didn't exactly help when we had all the camera equipment stolen out of the car either. That's like slightly difficult for a couple of days. But just unlucky. You know, 8 o'clock one morning, we were just outside putting stuff in the car, and I don't even know how it happened. It just.
I do. I was told by Bertie that because I was upstairs in the hotel having breakfast, and you went down, didn't you, to meet Bertie? Yeah. Because he was staying in the hotel. So Hamilton went down to see him. Bertie pulled up. He got out the car and he's talking to Ham. And next thing, a guy walks up to Bertie in Spain, speaking French, which is obviously was designed to confuse the situation. So whilst Bertie is suffering from this cognitive dissonance, Hamilton's looking at this guy, and then another young guy's creeping in the side of the car, opened the car and stole like a 10 grand camera and gimbal. The good news was it didn't have any data on it. It had all been uploaded the night before, which was, you know, it was insured, but it's still a shock to be robbed like that.
It is.
The inconvenience, you know, you've got to report it to the police, then you have to hire new equipment. It was a big.
I sneezed. Sorry.
Oh, we'll let you know.
Right. Yeah. Did that set you back a couple of days? I'm sure it must have.
Yeah, probably a day. I think. I mean, you know, it's amazing the resource that you can get when you're in different countries. But we did use some. We did get some assistance for some camera people over there because we needed more crew, because obviously bringing our own, that was all the crew would have been very, very expensive with, you know, the tests and all the extra. So we did hire some crew, and they were brilliant in Spanish. They had really good at what they were doing. Bertie enjoyed working with them. And I think it was through them that we found a hire company. Because, you know, how would you know where to hire a camera and a gimbal?
Right.
What it was, we were staying in, me and Hamilton, for one of the scenes, we were staying at this famous hotel. Really, it was a bit of a luxury for us. We got the luxury because it was needed for the scene. So we got to stay in this nice hotel. And we found out later from the police very specific, a lot of the film crews go to this hotel, and there's been quite a number of thefts there. So it's well organised. You know, they must have proper distribution for the equipment when they steal it.
Yeah, they may surface.
Yeah. That can happen in any city. We're not knocking Barcelona. Or you've got to have your wits about you, you know.
It's just sort of, it all adds to the frustration and the, you know, you tense, you can't relax properly because you just seem to be waiting for the next problem to come from somewhere. It just, I don't, you know what I mean? It just doesn't kind of.
No, it just sucks.
You just was on edge.
It wasn't like being on the beach, was it?
Absolutely, it was not. No, it certainly was not.
See, I'm with Hamilton. I could do without the beach.
Yeah, but it wasn't glamorous. You know, you think, oh, we're going to this hot Spain and we're going to be having, you know, spicy pill prawns and hearing all the Spanish music. And
see, hot springs are okay though. I did that when I was in Santorini. Right after climbing down into the mouth of a live volcano, coming out reeking like sulfur. It's like you're jumping more sulfur. It's great.
That's not me at all.
Nah, I'm adventurous all the way for sure. I can't lay on a beach. I'm just like I feel like I'm wasting my life away.
Volcanic. Yeah, I don't feel like I'm wasting my life. I feel like I'm replenishing by being on the beach.
I can replenish by being energetic.
I think the nice thing is to have the choice, isn't it? You know, it's not. Yes, so I go to the beach and I can lie on it for 10 minutes and then I want to start doing stuff. But I like the idea that I can do it, you know. And then to cap it all off for me, Hamilton was staying an extra couple of days. So I got the taxi to the airport, checked in, you know, I had to get all these tests and certificates. So after we go through all the rigmarole of, you know, checking in and takes ages. I get into the departure lounge and I can see all these queues of people and I've got an hour to wait, so I'm well in time. And it's getting out like I've got 20 minutes to go and I still haven't heard the call for the gate and I knew where the gate was. And I'm looking at this big queue and I thought, why would they move? And I got to about 10 minutes before departure and I walked to the queue and I walked through it. And the queue was the next gate, and my gate was completely empty with two people standing on it. And I ran up, and she said, "I said, oh, I'm boarding this plane." She said, "You know, it's already boarded. We've stopped boarding now, so you can't get on this flight." Wow. So they wouldn't let me on the flight. So I had to walk back all the way back through the airport. I don't know whether you've ever done that because you got to go back through immigration the back way. And it took ages, and it took me 2 hours to get me luggage. Then I had to get a taxi back to Barcelona to see Hamilton, rebooking the hotel and rebook me flight. It wasn't good, you know.
You're lucky they had an available room. It would have been worse if they didn't.
I'd have been fucking with Hamilton. Move over, buddy.
I missed my flight in Rome. It's the worst feeling. I watched the plane take off from Fiumicino da Vinci, and I just stood there like, are you effing kidding me? Looking at this plane just taking off to Toronto. I'm like, really? And then I had to get a room close to the airport. That in itself is another show. That's all I'm going to say. Ladies, when you travel alone, don't talk to anybody. That's all I'm going to say. Whole other show. But anyways.
But the experiences
it's already
of travel.
Intimidating.
I had great experiences in Germany being by myself.
I was in Germany by myself too because I had to
fly
to
Germany
to get to Toronto.
You're trying to figure out who it was, and everybody's acting like it wasn't them. Just like, who just grabbed my ass? Seriously.
I mean, now when you're in the airport, it's like it was bad enough before. I mean, the whole flying experience now is horrible. You know, and you think you've got to carry so much documentation. You've got to papers upon papers. Then you've got to take your boots off. Yeah. You've got to take your watch off and hide it in your coat in case it gets robbed when you put it through the I
never wear my good jewelry when I travel for that reason.
You don't need to. All you need is a bra with a wire to stop you from getting through.
That's true.
You guys don't have that.
So just don't wear one.
Women are always, no.
Problem solved.
I always get pulled for that or a belt. I'm like, oh my God, seriously?
Bikini top. No wire.
Yeah, but so that's where you use the bikini to travel through the airport. Now I
I
know.
make your
That's
clothes.
brilliant.
Seriously, no
Yeah.
wires. Seriously.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
When I go to the islands, and you know you're going to have those 3-hour waits before you get your room, I always have my bathing suit underneath ready to go. I'm just like, yeah, no problem. Send me to the bar and give me a chair on the beach. I'm good.
That's good.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Good. Producer saying everything's working. Thumbs up. Yay.
Yeah.
Yay.
At
Well, I
least
already
with-
changed all the links. That's why I was missing.
Oh shit! Now I have to go approve all that. Why do you do that to me?
No. I did it on the original. You don't have to prove
Okay,
anything.
good.
It
Thank
goes on the original. No.
Okay, good. No
It's
thinking.
good. It was
required.
just a big headache because we're so used to being in a certain spot. So if you're listening anywhere on YouTube, you're going to get us right now. But I am only in one chat room, which is the International Public Radio chat room.
Right.
So, yeah.
Oh. Okay. You're not on UFO Paranormal.
No, because there was no sound and I had to leave there. So now I'm in International Public Radio. I go back and
we
forth.
like you guys. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we don't do this. We don't do this for anybody.
A whole lot of people.
Yeah. We're
No,
playing
we
on
like
all
Skype.
the channels
All
right now.
Skype it is. So, okay. So you had your
Okay.
adventures in Barcelona. So how many episodes to this new season did you guys actually film? I know you had a break in between there, right?
Yeah.
It's the same as the series as the first one. It's 5 episodes. I mean, the amount of footage we got, you could have probably done 12 out of it, but it's condensed down to 5.
Right.
Which, it was okay. We ended up back up in the Pyrenees, it's just a fabulous area. Slightly different storyline, but you can breathe now. It's finished. There's no more waiting around, waiting for clearances and this, that, and the other. We're done. Which is it's a relief. It's over now, really.
Yeah, it is slightly different than series 1, but what it kind of does, it ties all the elements together, because even when you're doing this thing, you look. When you're traveling through history and traveling around the places, researching it, you see so many things crossing paths. So you see where the Templars have been, where the Celts have been, where the Romans have been, and all these characters keep coming into play in the same places. And that's what's fantastic about it. And the second series has kind of pulled a lot of the elements that just makes it more understandable and more interesting to see these places that have been used by different generations of people for very similar reasons sometimes. Like when we were talking last time about the way churches build churches onto sacred sites, or why they build a fort or a castle on a hill. There's logical reasons that existed then that are still logical today to utilize the same environments.
Right. And I noticed you guys changed the name of the show, or the powers that be, of course, changed the name of the show. Can you explain? I know because we've talked before, but maybe for everybody else who's not made privy to the information, what's different about this season per se? Like, we're not talking the Tomar Hoard here. We're branched off, right? Is that?
Yeah, well, that's the point of it, is that we don't change. It's kind of decided in the hands of the gods, really, of what they want to do, which is fair enough. It's their enterprise. Yeah. And I think because with series 1 with the Templar stuff, we could make probably 30 series on Templar stuff. We've got that much stuff that we could use. You could go on and on. Whether there's a big audience to constantly look at Templar stuff, I don't know. But I think they also probably felt that we've got other interesting items that still relate to the Templars and the Crusades, that it kind of widens the whole picture of what Relic Hunters is about. And shows that it does still involve the Templars in parts, but it covers other areas. So we you know, that's what they wanted us to do, and that's what we've done. What do you think, Alison?
Yeah, I mean, we really wanted to do the follow-up to the Templars and continue the story, because there were so many Templar locations you could go out to that related to objects we've got, that you could have just gone on and on, but they just decided, no, you're not doing it. There was no real explanation. It was just, no, you ain't doing it.
Who do I send the hate mail to?
What?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, but, no, I mean, I don't know. I mean, when did we get told they were changing the name? I don't even remember when that was. Did we get told, or did we just see it on that advertising bump?
Well, I think you know, I mean,
I can't remember now.
There's a different departments of people that manage it, but it's, you know, you've got to understand. Everyone understands how it works. It's fine. They can't call it the same name because
it helps. You need a name to help you be diverse, right? Which means you could talk about. You can go anywhere. You can talk about any artifact. That tells me. I mean, you know what I get out of it when I hear that, yeah, the name has changed to something like that. It just tells me season 3, frankly.
Well, it'd be nice, actually. I mean, I think what it gives us is exactly what you've pointed out, is it shows that we've got, or hopefully it will show, that we've got the ability to explore other contents rather than just be sort of pigeonholed in the Templar stuff, which we absolutely love. I mean, you know, it's a rabbit hole you can go down them forever. There's so much. It's so interesting, and yeah, we'd have got to have carried on with that. But equally, there's so many other areas of history in this world that, you know, you can't help but enjoy being involved in it. And you know, when we're going out to do these things, we have to, or I certainly have to do a lot more research, because it's areas I don't know about, and I find it brilliant, you know, to actually get the chance to study something and then actually go to the places where you're talking about. Because if you remember when you're at school, you read a book about the Romans, and and in England particularly, you know, we've got Roman sites quite close by, but there's a lot of history that you read that's not in your area, so you just got to believe it and accept it. But in this job we're doing, we actually go specifically to the places where these events happened, and that's, you know, because you can put it right in context in your mind. It's a real place. There was real people, kind of our size people, you know. It's just a much stronger immersion into the subject for yourself, and then I think when you feel that if you've been having to describe it or discuss it on the show, hopefully it comes across. You know, we can sort of give a stronger feeling and a flavour of what we're talking about.
And you're still dealing with items from your collections then, are still being featured.
Yeah, I mean, each episode has got one or two things in it. What have we got? Is there 2 Templar shows, Carl?
No, it's two episodes on the Crusades.
That's right.
Which is the Templars principally, but it's wider, as we know.
Well, it's Templars with a few 8-holes in the background.
Well, you got
I'm not as fond of the Crusaders as I am of the Templars. So.
You know, but I mean, it is good because it does cover some very. We can't go into any more than that.
Of course, no, that's okay.
The Crusades, you know, that's a great 2 episodes. Then there's one on the Iberian Celts, which that was the one for me that I thought, oh, this is going to be a bit boring. This, and what's, you know, everyone thinks of Celts. We don't know what they are. We just got this image that there was these primitive people, but far from it. You know, the more you delve in it, the more rich and fascinating the actual whole content is. So we've got that one, and we've got one on, believe it or not, on pilgrimage, which again is brilliant. You know, And it's the overlap of each subject because, as we said before, you talk about pilgrimage was on for example, in Europe, on the Camino. It's under the Milky Way, which was the same path that the Druids and the Celts followed way before Santiago and the actual pilgrims. So the same pathways are being used for different reasons. We're all kind of looking up somewhere for answers. And the last episode we've got is based on something to do with the Nazis. We can't really tell you more about that.
There's lots of
very interesting subject. Sad and interesting, it's a very difficult subject to deal with. I suppose for me it is, but it's slightly different for you, isn't it, Hamilton?
Yeah, I mean, I sort of don't have the I don't know how to say I'm more detached from it, and I look at it from a history point of view. I don't know. I think perhaps you have to stand away from it to some degree, or you just get so wrapped up in it that it's very difficult to be involved with it. A lot of people don't like it, which is understandable.
I find it difficult, to be honest with you. But,
yeah.
That's the chalk and cheese with me and Hamilton. We work together great, but we have two totally different perspectives on this. I mean, as Hamilton said, he's clinical with it in so much these are important items. He acquires these to preserve them and protect them so that other people can really make what they want out of them. But for me, when I'm looking at stuff, and particularly when I touch things, you can't help but be completely absorbed in these type of items, in the misery and the sadness and the horror that sort of went on. It's hard for me to be objective when you're faced with those kinds of things.
Yeah, not everything in history is pleasant, and not every object that still survives is pleasant. A lot of things can have, well, I suppose what you say, seriously unpleasant connotations or bits of history associated with them. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't preserve them or do something with them. It's just not everybody's cup of tea to be the one that does it. But
that's why I sent it to you. That wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I know who could take this.
It's important. Exactly.
Exactly right.
And I don't know, it just takes maybe a different mindset or personality. Everybody can deal with fluffy bunny rabbits or dolphins, but not everybody can relate to wartime atrocities. If that's what you do, it's just what you do. It's a natural, somebody's got to do it. It'll be here when I'm gone. So it's been preserved. It's part of the job.
It's a funny one, because if you look at any historical antiquity like the kind that we have, if you specifically say the Templars, and we all go, look at this sword. Well, yeah, but it's a weapon to murder people. It's not treasure. It's treasure to us now, but in the day it was like, bloody hell, he could kill me with that, and he probably has done. And there was nothing nice and glamorous about it. It was a clinical device to kill people. But we know, look at this Templar helmet, isn't it beautiful? And look at the sword, and it's treasure, but it's warfare material to kill people.
It's true, you're not wrong.
There was as much sadness about.
Sorry, I look at it a little bit differently. It's okay. I look at it a little bit differently. I look at it the perspective of the man that wore that. How did he feel wearing that? The honor that he had, the proudness that he had,
was that just
the
like
strength,
weapons?
the courage to move on. Yeah, and I see it as an empath. I see it differently. I think of what did he feel? This is a man who had to let go of everything, a family life, a normal life. He was just, traveling and protecting others. And what kind of person does it take to be that? And that would be the energy that I would pick up off of that, rather than this. Any weapon can be used for murder. You could use my stilettos to kill somebody, but
I'm just using one.
I see it that way. No, I agree with you as well.
If you look at any item, you you can create a narrative 360 degrees. You could keep cutting that and keep creating different stories that are opposite each other about what this represents. And I agree with you, you know, in terms of I can easily empathise with that view. That
I get what you're saying too, though. It's like, what makes one artifact that is just as deadly, or just as, you know, with its intention, more enticing? Like, why are people drawn to that? Let's say then, you know, again, like I'm only going to make reference to, you know, the stuff that I had that I sent off only because I had it, you know, without getting into it, because I don't want to do that. But, you know, for me, I am a believer in that history must be preserved, but it also should be with the right person. I wasn't the right person for this stuff when I saw it, but I knew I was just a bridge to keep it from being destroyed. I was just a bridge to wherever. Well, I didn't even know when I came across where it was going to go. I just always knew it wasn't going to remain with me. So I think, you know, because you guys know what it is, you could say, you know, unequivocally, yeah, we don't think people would be ready for something like this. But yet you could take a weapon, which, you know, could have done just as much, you know, damage, really, and people seem to be so enticed with things like that.
Yeah, it's like what I was on about before. It's like, let's say, for example, Templar sword. It kills somebody, right? And you know, it's with merit or with justification, because they're, you know, our side, right? If you're on our side, if you're on the other side, our side was wrong for killing someone. Now, whoever gets killed, they've got a mother and a daughter or a sister or a brother, people who love them. And their ancestors would never look at that sword and go, oh, that's amazing. That, you know, it's only one little angle. I'm not trying to taint the whole.
It's craftsmanship too, though.
There's so many perspectives on it.
Yeah,
I agree with you on that sense, and it depends who's the holder, who's holding it, who's keeping it. A lot of people look at swords as strength and courage, you know, because people use them to fight for their rights, which they still hold today. So I think it really depends, and I do see your point, and I do agree with you as well. I'm just, for me, like I said, as an empath, I'm looking at it in a different way. I try to always spin the positive on everything. So that's important for me with that one. I see a lot of people collectors of swords, and a lot of them it's because it's from their clan, their families who have fought for their land, and that's how they're preserving their history and their culture. You know, I wish I could bring the Tower of Pisa into my front yard, but I can't. Yeah.
You know, it's just like them. Yeah. I mean, I raised my sons on old, like, antiquities, weapons, you know, and I'm the same.
It's made, he said, nobody loves a warrior till the enemy's at the gate. And then we all love the warrior at that point because we need him, you know, and it's very, you know, I don't agree with war or that, but when the enemy's at the gate, you know, societies and cultures and tribes need warriors, you know, and it's all these things. You can, as we said, you can look at the good and you can look at the bad, and there's good and bad in everything.
There is, and we'll never see an age like that again. You know, I think as wars have progressed through time, you know, then the next one, you know, who knows? It could be chemical warfare, let's say. You're never going to find antiquities like that. You're never going to find things like that. It's just going to...
Do you think in the future there might be, when we get a cyber attack, there might be someone like me in Hamilton who go, oh, look at this silicon chip. This was the one that took out the satellite.
Look, Hamilton, it's a freaking time machine. Yay! We're going back in time.
The world. Well, nowadays, the way warfare is, they push a button, but unfortunately, they take themselves out with it. So it sets off another signal. So really, I have a hard time believing, I never want to see it, of course, but I have a hard time believing that anyone would actually push a button knowing that they'd be taking out themselves as well and their own people. So maybe we do need to go back to swords.
I think so. But wouldn't it be cool to find the Nazi bell?
Or wasn't it swords? Because especially with the Templars, because they were founded by noblemen who were leaders, and they did actually go out and fight, whereas most modern leaders just send other people's children to fight for them. And generally, they don't even send their own children out. But in those days, they took the risk like everybody else.
And the monarchy in your country still follows suit to that, though. They still send all of their family members into the military service, female or male, which is admirable. But and Queen Elizabeth, way back the first, actually fought a war, and that's how England became one of the most wealthiest countries. There's a lot to be said for female warriors, just saying.
Exactly. Exactly. We could just hurt you with our words.
Or my stilettos.
We just hurt you with our words. We don't need weapons.
That's what Vikings are for.
No, there we go. So,
the other thing we get off quickly before they start cutting us up with words.
Wait for it. Sorry, Hamilton, you were talking. Go ahead.
I mean,
we're goofing around.
The other thing with objects is you find that different people can be drawn specifically to one thing for no apparent reason. You find, me and Carl with the Templar stuff, it's very tactile. If you're picking it up, you want to sit and hold it. And if you're sat up in my office with something, you pick it up, put it down, pick it up again, spin it round. And that happens with an awful lot of people, but it's not necessarily to the same objects, and equally you can also be repulsed by things. I mean, certainly a lot of the wartime stuff, when people have seen it in my storage, they're almost running away from it. You haven't touched it, you haven't really looked at it. The mere fact you're in its presence, there's something about it that can creep people out, and it's different for different people. I think particularly with the wartime stuff, women absolutely hate it. I mean, we've had people bursting into tears in my shed just looking at stuff just heaped up in boxes. I hadn't even told them the price and they're crying already, It's,
that's why I share my stuff with you.
I love
it.
relics.
You understand it. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, I think you get to a point where you feel like you have to save it. Like, I know I've mentioned this before. I went to buy a World War II Russian officer's sword for one of my sons. And the elderly couple there said, we have no family. This came from a brother-in-law from England who had no family. And I ended up with an entire collection of World War I and World War II stuff going, all right. Because it was just like, well, we'll probably have to throw it away. Why would you do that for? Sure. So, is it what I like to collect? No, of course not. But it's still something that needs to be preserved. So now I have all this stuff, and I'm just like, all right, then, things find you. I believe.
Oh, definitely.
That things find you. Well, we know things find you guys. That's like, but it's just cool things find you guys, apparently. So, but, I do believe that things make their way to you if you're meant to be their caretaker in one form or another.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But what's next then? I mean, this is being released in September, yes?
September the 6th in the UK.
Okay.
And then it's
so on Sky, I guess on Sky.
Yeah, on Sky History, and then it's going out on Discovery next in your part of the world.
Good. So Canada will finally get it.
Well, I have American television, so I'll probably get it before Canada.
And then, it sort of gets, it's funny because on our Facebook group, you get little waves where there's loads of people coming from a specific country joining up. So we've been getting a lot of people from South America the last few weeks, so we must be shown over there. We've had loads of people showing up from India and the Middle East.
So it's making the rounds.
It's amazing how far it gets to, and actually the people in those countries sharing the same interest that we all share together. The kind of people here who listen to the show. There's a lot of us out there who are fascinated on it. And I think it's, just talking before about the sort of World War II artifacts and memorabilia. I think because it's closer to us in time frame, people can relate more consciously to, the pain and suffering of what happened, whereas when we go further back than that, it starts to just become almost mythical in people's minds. And especially if you're talking about the Middle Ages, people are thinking of sort of Arthurian Knights of the Round Table, and it's verging on fiction in most people's minds.
I think it's a more glorified age.
Yeah, it's romantic, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, people seem to be enthralled with it, I think, for me, again, family, so it was just a learning process. I watch pretty much everything I can on it. And I have to say your show was very, very different because it was a different angle. It wasn't just travel through here. It's all there. You showed something or shared something with the world that was very real, that the world had never seen before, that the world never had an understanding of. I think with the Knights Templar, they needed to be, there's so much rhetoric out there that they really needed to have something concrete, something substantial to say, look, these were guys, and they did have beliefs, and it wasn't all just about the rhetoric of the church.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's funny how you've actually sort of seen that side, because it's hard for us to be objective about how it comes across the show, because we're thinking in our mind the work we've done for years before preceding it, and then actually doing the actual first series, we didn't have an absolute clue of what it was going to come out like, whether it was going to look like idiots or whatever. We just didn't know because we've never been involved in this world. And it's always interesting to meet people, and he said they've watched it, but to find out why they specifically enjoyed it and what it was about it that made it work. And what you've said comes across quite frequently is it sort of places history in the real world in people's minds. You can relate to them as human beings.
It does. It gives them, it humanizes them, like any way you look at it. I just love the perspective of you be the judge. This is what it is. We're doing our best to have experts look at it, try to figure it out. I think you guys did a fantastic job with that, but it does leave people wanting more, people who are really fascinated, with the Templars. And I think, coming into season 2, it sounds like you're just sort of bridging everything. And that sounds like it's going to be, fascinating. I know you can't talk a lot about it, but it is really fascinating. I can't wait to see what you guys are going to show us.
It was a great series to film because some of the locations were absolutely fabulous that we went to.
Right.
And we done that really, which we done it in lockdown. So most production companies and most broadcasters didn't actually produce any content outside of their own domestic country. And we were lucky to get out of the UK and film, all over the place. And the result of it, we've got some really good footage. It's quite dynamic and.
Well, I think they've made more use of the drones, haven't they, this time? Because that seemed to be very well received. So I think you've got more sort of big, flashy-looking Hollywood-type drones going over places, or drones following the cars. I don't know. I suspect it's going to look like a big-budget epic where we've got.
I think but that's the word. That's the right word. Budget.
Yeah.
I think every season you get, the budget gets bigger. and they can expand on it. Seriously, they do, even though they don't tell you that.
You're laughing on that.
Even though they don't tell you. Yes, they do. Especially when they already know it's going to be syndicated. When you did your first show, they didn't know it was going to be syndicated that easily. It just took off and it got syndicated. Now they already know it's going to be syndicated. That means, sorry, powers that be in the production world, more money.
Do you want to give them a call about that?
Yes, I have lots of things to say to them, actually. Some good, some not so good.
Well, they're the same as everyone else. They run the business and everyone's trying to make it work, so it's a compromise all the way. But, I mean, for me, as long as they get a great show done and, if the finished product looks great and people enjoy it, then it's job done, isn't it?
Maybe in the third one you can include a couple of Canadian redheads in the show.
Yeah.
We try. I mean, the whole.
Okay, I'm really cheap. You just throw me on the beach. It's Michelle that's going to cost you all the money because of all her excursions. But
I've been trying to find out if Hamilton can find any links of the Templars in the Far East, like Japan, because I'd love to go to Japan. And we need to reason why the Templars were in Japan.
I would think so.
I bet you wouldn't be far off, I mean, they were in Asia.
Well, somebody said
Asia.
The Japanese.
Get there?
That Japanese food where they dip it in.
Geez, are we going there? The food.
I'm
talking about McDonald's again. What are you doing?
No, they said it's called tempura.
You're referring to tempura. Yes, ice water and cornstarch. Yes.
I heard that there was a link with the Templars and Japan because of tempura.
There's a thing about raw fish that I just don't do very well.
No. Tempura is not raw fish.
It's anything anything that has a funky name. Right, Hamilton? Anything that's got a funky name sounds dangerous.
It wouldn't be
tempura. Yes, you would. It's just cornstarch. That's all it is. We'll put it on a potato for you.
Freaking eat cornstarch. Of all things.
You already do on your French fries when you go to restaurants. You're already
I don't eat lots of French fries, and I'm a salad girl.
That's what they use. Is cornstarch. Pardon?
It's only like batter on a fish when you go to a chip shop, and you get like Frito misto when you get calamari, you dip it in the cornstarch.
Okay, because like nobody in their right freaking mind eats calamari. Honestly, Hamilton, we need to straighten these two out.
You guys can't agree. Well, you won't eat at McDonald's, so Hamilton's like left. SOL by himself.
You're on your own for McDonald's. I'm sorry.
Actually, you did.
I'll be a wingman at a different fast food place, okay?
I'll go with Hamilton just for the French fries.
Okay.
You did all right inspect with the food, didn't you, Hamilton?
Yeah, I was all right because it was fairly plain. They knew what a potato was, which was good. And what else did I have? I can't remember.
You got chicken fingers every
day. That's right. Yeah, we found this place.
Hamilton and I speak the same language.
Yeah.
We do.
Actually,
you need to be more adventurous with your food.
I am. When in Rome, I do as a dang Romans. Okay, I will try something. I will try one thing at least once, unless it's calamari or snails. Things that crawl around in places do not make their way anywhere near me. So
don't eat anything. No bottom feeders.
No, I don't like bottom feeders at all of any sort, actually. Just saying. So okay, getting back to the series. Hamilton's like, what? La, not this thing.
We're going to McDonald's. Hamilton, McDonald's is still open here. Give me 5 minutes. I'll bring you back a burger.
They did actually film us having a meal, didn't they? Where was it we got filmed having a meal?
You filmed me having a meal in, we can't say who, why, where, but there was 2 meal scenes, because what they have to do is we do like the serious stuff about the history, and then there's got to be a little bit of a side story about what I'm getting up to when we go somewhere, what Hudson's getting up to. So there was in one of the episodes, there's two of us, both of us having a meal with somebody separate. So Hamilton's with this guy in this restaurant, and I won't tell you the restaurants, and I'm having a meal with some other guy somewhere else, and that should be interesting.
In another restaurant.
No,
what did you eat?
Where was it? Where
that
was
it?
it? No, where both of us. Was it Santiago de Compostela where they finished off in the restaurant?
Yeah, we had a meal. Yeah, we did a meal sequence there.
That's
we
right.
also did, oh yeah, that's right. We did one there.
I have a feeling Hamilton wants to tell us. It's okay, Hamilton.
You can say it,
they
Hamilton.
tried
Just
to
blurt it
call
out.
us
You're
friends.
amongst friends. A couple
They
of million
tried
of
to
them,
call
but
us
you're amongst friends.
It's
I mean, there was
just
a lot of beautiful restaurants in the old town. I mean,
Yeah.
oh dear, the stuff they're trying to give you to eat. Oh, dreadful. Absolutely dreadful.
dreadful.
That was great. He's
Good
just
thing he's not mentioning where. It's good that he's not mentioning where, Ben. It's okay.
It was a great restaurant.
Yeah, it was a fabulous place.
Things that we're talking about. I won't say what these things are, but to most normal, sophisticated people, these things are these tasty bits of seafood. Not for Hamilton. They're like alien. It's like alien cuisine. It was like,
Well, it depends what you're used to, right? That's
Well, I mean,
okay.
To me, food has got to look appetizing. You know what I mean? If something is either ugly or it looks like something you've coughed up, I don't want to put it in my mouth. You know what I
I
mean?
agree
So
with you.
please tell me you
100%.
don't eat haggis.
I
But
agree with
what is that perspective to you though? Do you eat haggis or that's a no-no?
I love haggis.
Do you eat bread pudding?
Oh wow! Why would
God.
Why would any? Okay, I'm
It's
sorry to
such
the
an
haggis
English
lovers.
breakfasting.
Okay, but
Yeah.
don't
Okay,
they
well,
keep
yeah.
that inside the
haggis-
stomach
do
of
you
a
know what
sheep or
haggis
something?
is? Do you know what it is?
I know what haggis is. Italians make a different version of it, and I don't eat that either.
Say where
I've actually been up to
Yeah.
Scotland and shot them live. We've been up there and shot them, but they're difficult to get because they're kind of about this. Well, there's little ones, you can get smaller ones, but the fully grown ones, probably about 3 pounds.
I'm gonna throw up.
They've got
in
like
my
a little,
mouth.
like a pig, a little curly tail on the back. The weird thing about them, on the right-hand side, they've got 2 long legs, and on the left-hand side, 2 short legs, so they can run up hills sideways and down them. You've really got to be good to get them. And when you
You're by yourself.
Ooh.
You're by yourself on this one, Carl, because I just vomited in my mouth and it's like right here.
And Hamilton's
okay?
trying to get off the screen.
No,
Yeah.
I just had to put my phone
I
on.
feel like
Hamilton's
Hamilton.
trying to disappear.
No, sorry.
Oh my
I just
God,
had to
I'm
put the
gonna
phone
puke.
on charge.
No, that's okay. We're just playing.
Oh,
Well,
we have
I
a question in
love
the
the
chat
taste of
room.
haggis. It's beautiful. It's really just a composition of, oats and wheat and chopped innards and goodies. It tastes brilliant if you make a whiskey cream sauce for it with mashed potatoes and carrots.
I'll take the
Coat that
whiskey,
in-
but
You
forget the
could
cream
coat it in
sauce.
diamonds, I wouldn't take it. Yeah. I wouldn't
It
even
was
eat it
so-
coated in diamonds, and that's speaking volumes for me.
Even then,
Hmm.
some
I mean,
things.
Scotland
What
was
size
great.
the diamonds are.
I love Scotland. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time we'd been up there. I was really impressed with Scotland. I would certainly go back there. I don't know. There's an enormous amount of history and Templar stuff, and I mean, you could go on and on in Scotland for innumerable series that all links together. And you did a show with Sean, didn't you, Sean Williamson?
A couple times, yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
I mean, we ran into Sean. I mean, it was fascinating. I mean, his insight and understanding of sort of stonework and the time he spent up there.
Mhm.
Honestly, you could just go and do a history of Scotland and go on and on with that. It'd be fabulous. I mean, driving around in
Red Castle, didn't we?
Yeah. fabulous, really good.
We stayed in a castle, and because of COVID, they had to supply a chef, so it was great. You know,
No, it wasn't.
Hamilton didn't like the breakfast because there was a thing called a choice of bread for toast, and he'd never seen non-white toast before, and you didn't really cranberry toast, did you?
I love green bread.
Different kind of relic.
I have a comment and a question because you have a lot of fans that I am so impressed. They've been messaging me all day for this link. They actually are in England and they stayed up to watch you guys live. Angel Q Dog is in there. Angel Q Dog is in there, and Angel says, "So good to see you boys live on the Outer Realms. Sorry I was late to join, and I reassured, don't worry because we started late." Thank you, ladies, for having Carl and Hamilton on as your guests this evening. Will season 2 be on the History Channel in the USA? If so, do you know the date when it will air? Thank you.
Well, it's not going to be on History in the US. It's going to be on Discovery.
They changed it. Discovery Plus, I bet.
It was on the first series that it was Discovery. So History in Europe and Discovery in the Americas.
Have they Discovery when it's going out? I've not heard.
Somebody did say something. I thought I've got in my mind October sometime.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
There you go, Angel.
But it is coming out, and it's what they're doing in England at the moment. They're rerunning Series 1 now, right up, I think, to the week before the new series, so people can get a sort of introduction to it, and understand it, because there's more and more people looking at it now.
Do you have anybody from the first series aside from you guys coming back? Like your expert, will he be coming back? His name eludes me, so I apologize. You had a couple of people commenting, and he was, of course, the one, your expert on relics. Yeah. Right?
Well, there's always experts in the show. I mean, the problem, I suppose, is Hamilton's the biggest expert in terms of his own stuff. You know, no one knows his stuff more than him. But it is interesting to get another perspective on it.
Right. And
I mean, of people, there's John T, I think, is in the Celtic episode. And the other guy, Roger, who was in the first series, I think is he in 2 or 3 of them?
Is he in the? I think he is in a couple too.
He's in at least 2 of them. He might even be in a 3rd one. You see, we don't actually know what's being edited. We don't get told what the actual thing is. I mean, I think we filmed with Roger because he was in Israel as well, wasn't he, with us? So I mean, we've got some ladies in the show as well, which is
I was going to ask you about new faces.
Yeah, we've got two very interesting. 3. I think there's three very interesting ladies. One with very similar colour hair to you, ladies. So it must be the. Have you got like a?
It's popular.
Do you do like an Outer Realm hair product now?
Michelle has her own colour.
Me and Hamilton was thinking of buying some and coming on the show next time.
My blend is made up for me, so.
Red dye. Yeah. I make my own up because that's what I used to do.
I'll send you a tube.
Okay. We'll do it next time, definitely.
Oh, we will, but I want to see you guys with red hair next time you come on the show.
Like
oh my God, Hamilton's like hell to the no. I've got a hat on. I don't care.
It'd be like the Outer Realms version of the Thomas affair.
Just put on a wig. That's all. I still want your hat, Hamilton. One of the ladies asked me if you gave the hat to me yet. I go, no, but he did say when the series ends, so I'm holding you to it because it is recorded. So you can't like.
Refresh my talking about that later. Yeah.
He's like, get away from my hat, man. This is like my image thing, just like my hair.
I just want a copy. I don't need your hat per se. I just want one that looks like your hat. Yeah, I wear a lot of hats, so I love it.
Well, the eventual aim is we can have some branded products. So you'll get one, but it'll have my little face on it somewhere at the top.
Perfect.
We haven't quite made it yet to products.
I'll go to Barbie McDonald's and I'll put the little packaging up on the top and I'll photograph with it. I think it would be darling.
I think Ham's prepared up if McDonald's done a Happy Meal with a miniature plastic Hamilton in one of them cellophane packages.
If you keep talking about it, you just might get your own action hero.
I want a freaking sponsorship from said McDonald's, just freaking saying.
I'll start eating.
We've been flopping that name around a whole lot lately.
I'd be eating their burgers if they gave it to us. Just saying, McDonald's. I won't eat them now, but if you're paying me,
I wouldn't. But thank you, Folgers.
Absolutely,
we love you.
Getting to that.
Yeah.
Folgers with fries.
That's just it. So.
Folgers with fries is great.
Oh,
I know.
I'm on the Folgers now. Love a Folgers coffee.
There you
go. Keep going. Because we're getting close. I might as well do the station ID right now since we're close to it. But we got to let Michelle read her cup.
No, it just says, my blood type is Folgers.
Fantastic.
Bessie got me that. That would be really cool. There we go, Folgers.
My coffee
extra bonus.
My coffee cup in the morning says not yet, not now, not ever. But anyway.
I'm like Folgers and the latte.
I am a grumpy bugger in the morning, but thankfully to Folgers, that's no more. Right now, you are listening to The Outer Realm with Michelle Desrochers and myself, Amelia Pisano. We have the amazing two gents from the UK. We have Carl Hamilton and Hamilton White from the Lost Relic Hunters. That's right, season 2 coming at you on the Discovery Channel in September, I believe, right? September, we're hoping. Fingers crossed. We are UFO Paranormal Radio. We're airing live out of New Orleans on 105.3 FM in New Orleans. We love you, New Orleans. Thank you so much for having us, and we can't wait to share more news later on about that. So we'll just leave you with a little tease with that one. Also, right now we are airing on United Public Radio. I don't know, but we are airing on Gods and Extraterrestrials, UFO Gods and Extraterrestrials right now, all over Facebook. I never get that one right, and I don't care, Joe. Just saying.
I know. He thought that was funny.
Wrong. I'm going to put an acronym on it because I don't like it.
I know. Because look, guys, we've got a new YouTube channel. We don't care because we can never remember.
We can never remember them. There's 4 of them, okay? So just search The Outer Realm. You'll find us.
I know.
We couldn't do any of this without Folgers. So Folgers, thank you so much for fully supporting us every Wednesday and Thursday night right here on UPRN Talk Radio.
There we go.
Who was that again? I missed it. What were they called?
Say it again. Sound it out, Hamilton. You have to say it.
Keep the mug still again. Move it across a bit.
Use your words. Say it. Okay. Say it.
You need to turn it. It says Olgers, is from what I can see. I can't see. That's better. Got it.
Say it.
All I'm doing is showing off my rocks right now. But anyways, yeah. My manicure. Thank you, Hamilton. Manicure needs to be done, but thanks for that.
Excellent. Oh, God.
Another week, but anyways.
I know. So yeah, that was fun.
What's the paranormal station that we're transmitting on or connected to? What's that one?
It is
UFO Gods and Extraterrestrials.
Yeah, he thought that would be funny to throw in there. That's just no. That
only taken us 10 months to get it, and I don't know.
I know. We still can't. I still write it down and I forget about it. It's a tongue twister.
I have it written down, and I still go back to United Public Radio. So, Joe, you're staying there. But, yeah.
YouTube likes to just chuck us off every now and then, so we got backup.
Oh, okay.
We have a lot of rules.
Because we be crafty, our network.
We have a lot of rules. Not that Michelle and I break any, because
we're the good seeds in all of this. Like, we're the good kids. We are.
Yeah.
We do everything right,
And we get booted off because
one of your shows brilliant, and we absolutely love being on it. But one of the biggest problems you've got with, I think, is like, because it's quite long, and like if you, let's say for example, you need to go to the toilet or something, you can't just get off, or if you want to stop and have a cigarette, not that I smoke cigarettes, but you can't just excuse me. So like we've done some shows in the UK. And they let you. They give us a playlist. We have to give them a playlist. Sorry, so we give them 3 of our favourite songs, and then in between each break, they ask us why we like this song and why it's so relevant to our life.
Oh, that's fun.
I think our music choices might scare you.
And then when the break's on, the camera's off us then. So you could maybe next time we're on us, get some songs off us, and then you could turn the camera on.
It's all coming.
We could have
okay, Carl.
We could have a little sleep.
I've got this one for you, Carl, okay? You learn how to use StreamYard, and we'll get anything you want on that background. Anything.
Okay.
We can even float a movie while you're on behind you. Anything you want.
You know how easy StreamYard is?
You want the
Click
golden
on a link.
arches? We will do it for you.
You can have a Folgers coffee through StreamYard.
Yes, I'll make you coffee.
You see, there you go. You can. And you can just click on that one link, nice and easy, and bam, you're there. It's like freaking magic.
It's really easy. It's much easier than Skype. So if you learn how to do StreamYard for the next show, we will take whatever music you want. It won't be our choices. It has to be yours because ours would scare the crap out of you. But we'll definitely play the music.
He says that, but we have a lot of like the old, when we were at the station, it was all Celtic music, Vikings. It was really, we had, chanting and.
We still do.
And I don't mean like crazy, like occult chanting. I mean like monks chanting.
No, but
like
my neighbors don't know it's not a cult. So when they piss me off, I'll play it.
I told her, I said, go out there with like, some weed killer and draw a big pentagram on their lawn. So this way, when it rains, the grass comes up and the pentagram.
Oh boy!
Good ideas come out of this house. Not all mine.
I need to. I'm that person that just needs to live out in the middle of nowhere. It's just who I am. I really walk to the beat of my own drum. So, I don't want to have to be concerned about being in my yard or what I'm wearing, what I'm not wearing, what I'm doing. Like, I don't want that concern. So I like when there's nobody around. I have a farm on one side, but I have a house on the other. So. Yeah.
I grew up with a lot of space. This is quite new for me, but the house looks spooky. So, they either have to walk on the other side of the road, or next thing you're on a bus tour and you have like 50 people coming out taking pictures of it.
Somebody came into your house off that bus tour, didn't they?
They thought the house was a movie set, and they walked in, and Wayne's like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, this is a movie set." "No, man, this is my house." Get out. It was unbelievable. And you one day you're just sitting there because it's got a big wraparound around. It's a big Gothic revival manor. So we're sitting there and we look and it's like, is that a freaking bus outside the house? And people are spilling out of it and taking pictures. And we're just like, holy shit, it is a bus. Yeah. And then you find out you're like on a ghost tour and stuff. And you're just thinking, all right, this is all right.
Maybe you need to get like some tannoys outside and play the Addams Family.
Yes.
But her house already resembles the Addams Family.
I'll put it on speaker.
But that alone, just the look of her house should keep you on the sidewalk.
I'd like to see a photo. Some people walk on the other side of it. Some people do the sign of the cross. Some people. You have no idea. I'll give you something to give the sign of the cross.
I wear a rosary when I go inside, just saying.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
That's not true. I usually come with a handful of wine. That's not true. I don't wear a rosary.
It's fine. Every now and then you'll see a door just go. You're just like, oh.
It's a very peaceful place now. It's a beautiful.
But things happen. Sometimes you just see me kind of go. It's just something that's.
If Hamilton comes over, he might want to take some of your pieces back with him, though, as a collector's item.
So. I'm always willing to do a trade.
No problem with that.
What are we trading?
I like drinking Folgers out of a chalice too. Sword, helmet. See, I don't need the hat. I could take a helmet.
She drank wine out of that chalice too.
Put your little face up on a Templar helmet. Send it to me.
Michelle's not discriminating. She'll drink wine out of that chalice.
I'm easy to get along with. We trade well.
We do wonder one day, will it actually feel that, oh God, time's right to actually have a drink out of the chalice, because we haven't drunk out of any of them, have we?
Come on, how could you not?
I'd be pouring verb or crystal into that thing right now. I don't know what you're waiting for.
Yeah, you could drink crystal out of the white chalices, but you wouldn't put red wine in them because it would stain them.
I don't see that doesn't cross my mind. So the chalice should come here because I don't drink red wine, and you'd never have to worry about me putting red. You should send the chalice here.
Set it over.
We use the black ones to drink the red wine, the obsidian chalices.
There you go. Yeah, you can have that one.
And we did actually do a bit of a ceremony with that. Well, we didn't. One of Hamilton's friends.
Oh, so beautiful.
That is my screensaver.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I love it. That's can you see it?
Here, Hamilton. She's working
all right. There.
She already has it. See?
You got it.
Right. See? What do you want from me? I think it's great.
It's an epic piece. It's the most. Well, there's a smaller one, isn't there, as well, Hamilton?
No. Oh, the third one you're talking about.
On the black one, the obsidian.
I'd be afraid to drink out of that, though. Yeah.
So, do you have any pieces that you would deem like otherworldly, out of this world, esoteric? Anything fun?
Oh, God.
Aside from that active chalice?
Demonic attachment.
Active how? Does it just kind of go along the table on its own, or what does it do exactly to?
Well, I mean, that's the angle that we haven't really covered at all or even mentioned, is the sort of weird side and I don't know whether you call it the esoteric or the supernatural or the coincidences of the whole.
Or just haunted.
Because I don't know. It's you are trying to keep a very clear line between what's factually provable and what is, well, this has happened or this goes on. But yeah, I mean, certainly out of not only the Templar stuff, you do get objects, as I'm sure you know in your place, that have got something pokey about them. It's hard to describe it until you've experienced it. But yeah, I mean, you felt it with a black chalice, didn't you? The very first time you had it, it's like
you can't not feel it. And we did have a little bit of a sort of ceremony. One of your friends came round, didn't he?
Oh, 2 years back, yeah.
It was quite mind blowing, but I don't really want to discuss it because it sounds a little bit too phantasmagorical. But it was incredible. It really was, and. I'm sure you've had experiences like that, and there's many people listening to this show that
I do. I have items like that. People send me items like that because they don't want them in their house. So I'm like, yeah.
But I mean, I think a lot of people, whether you're tuned into the other world or not, you can go somewhere and you can instantly like it or dislike it for no apparent reason. You can go to a castle or a graveyard or a church, or you can walk through a door and just suddenly think, oh, this is so calm and peaceful. Or the exact opposite. You can go in a castle dungeon and immediately you just pick up on something that's like, oh, bad atmosphere, don't like it.
Not me. So not me. I'm like, can I lay on the rack?
You just said that right, and yet you can at the same time be very clinical with an historic item,
totally,
and completely ignore any of that. Whereas for me, I can't separate that. You know, if I see something and I feel it straight away, I can't then look at it as a tangible, just as a physical item. There's something more going on with the item. It's metaphysical.
I think it depends on the item. It's going to hold residual energy from the person who owned it or the person who made it. Or, I mean, you think about this. Let's just use the chalice as an example. According to the show, it probably would have taken 7 years to make because it's the obsidian is so difficult. The energy just from the craftsman alone every day, just working on this and pouring everything he's got. It's a beautiful work of art. It doesn't matter. I mean, put aside what it was meant for. Now, when you're using it ceremoniously, besides that, now there's a whole other type of energy that goes into it, right? So you have a blend of many different things, many people who have handled it. I think it's fascinating. Just
it's like it's all as well. It's the ceremonies that we use, and I think that it sort of allows it to be imbibed with sort of very powerful energy, because of what it's been, how it's being used. We don't know. We really don't know. The ceremonies, but they're used in very special places as well. So it's not just the item that's special; it's the environment that they're specifically used in, and usually environments which are not, which the public were not allowed in. It was only initiates that have seen these ceremonies with these items, and that's the fascinating thing about it.
I think it's spectacular.
Well, I mean, you think going back to your house in Orbitaire all those years ago,
Mm-hmm.
the strange atmosphere and the number of people that had stayed with you that you found asleep in the living room because they couldn't cope with being upstairs for some reason.
It's happened. It's happened.
I felt comfortable. I used to stay there on my own. It was a big place, It was like I think there was 11 bedrooms. It was built for the Templars in the 11th century or 10th century, and 11th century it was. And there's been loads of events that had happened there. Even the Gestapo occupied it in World War II, and there was tunnels blown up by the Gestapo because they were worried about the resistance using the tunnel to set traps against the Germans. And there was actually a hidden tunnel from my house that was supposed to go under the town and come out into the chateau next to the Gliese monolith, which that is a place and a half, isn't it, Hamilton?
Yeah. But I mean, you think the difference from the front of the house where we used to sit out on the balcony looking across the village was just this completely calm, mellow, you could just sit there all day and you were just instantly relaxed. But then there was the back bit of the house where you went up the second staircase up to the room where I stayed in. The atmosphere at that part of the house, it was cold, it was, I don't know, it just was. If you're receptive, you just walked into that little back room where the stairs and the laundry was, and instantly you just went, we're not going to go.
There's something. I don't feel welcome in this spot. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, once you start to become a bit receptive, it's the same with objects. You can pick up 100 ancient objects and all of a sudden one of them will be so pokey and lively. And it doesn't have to be anything tremendously valuable or even significant. Just certain things can have something about them that have just got this, to say it's talking to you sounds a bit ridiculous.
Not really.
That's almost what it's like.
No, it's a thing.
No, if you're receptive to it, yes. But the average person who isn't or hasn't experienced it probably thinks you're a loony. But I mean, there's a lot more people than you actually think out there that we've come across, haven't we? That can handle objects.
I think it's beat out of you, these kind of feelings at school. They don't want you to be in touch with these feelings. Because, they keep going on with, you're a human, you've only got 5 senses. It's the most ridiculous understatement.
Five physical senses. There's so many of them.
I mean, I can walk into a room and tell there's going to be trouble in 10 minutes. I can feel it in my bones and everything.
You're like, just give me a drink. Trouble is about 5, 4, 3. I'm kidding. No, but
there's senses, isn't there? There's There's
Yes.
so many different kind of senses, and we're
Yes.
told we're just these binary humans that we're just supposed to be here to produce and consume, and not to take any notice of the finer beauty within ourselves, you know, as beings or
Powerful
celestial beings. Yeah,
It's
we
true.
are.
It's true. Beings of energy on a very human journey,
Yeah.
I think, and that's what people need to realize, you know. But I think when you're looking at, again, you're looking at these ceremonial objects, you get that feeling of this is a secret, like you know, the secret organization as to, you know, what they did behind closed doors. So you almost get that sense of maybe you're not supposed to be seeing it. Maybe you're not supposed to be holding it. I bought out an Oddfellows Lodge. That's a secret society here, and that just doesn't happen. You don't just get carte blanche to come in because they were closing it to say, take whatever you want. Here, it's all going, and I'm sitting there going. And then I get the all or nothing. I will take it all. So it's just, but there is that feeling. There are some pieces that you're looking at, you're going, you're not, you know, not supposed to see this stuff. And, you know, I got a glimpse into a very amazing world, you know, books and things that I'm looking at going, this is the ceremony. These are the prayers. This is, you know, the reenactments and, you know, just unbelievable things. And of course, the thrones are a bonus, but lots and lots of thrones. I think I yanked 12 chairs out of that place.
You can never have enough thrones, can you?
Absolutely not, no.
Yeah, they're amazing. But the same sort of an idea. You're holding something that's almost you're not supposed to be unless you're one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I think a lot of very ancient sites, I mean, pre-Christian sites are very, very pokey. I mean, there's a place about half an hour from where my place is in England that me and Carl have been over to a couple of times, and I've been over innumerable times, which is it's what appears to be a Celtic or earlier an unknown burial mound.
Wow.
But, I mean, we've been over there and we've taken the divining rods. So that was where you had to go first, wasn't it? And I mean,
it was that, wasn't it? Because we went to the pub first, as we normally do, to meet Hamilton's mate. So we thought we'll have a few beers. So we went to the pub and then we come out. We walked to this start of this footpath towards this burial mound. And Hamilton said, "Have you ever used dowsing rods before?" I said, "No." So he said, "Right, we'll hold him." He said, "Walk forward." And the next thing, he crossed over.
Yeah, they're fun.
He said, do you know how they work? I said, "Well, not really." He goes, "Well, it's just electrical energy." He said, "It's either water below you or electrical energy above you." He said, "Look up." And I looked up, and there was power lines right over me.
No,
so
they're fun.
You know, and that's, you know, once you understand the simplicity of how they work, then they start working in places where you can't see power lines and you can't see the water underneath, but they definitely work.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I hadn't told Carl because me and my pal, we'd been up there quite a lot, but you could trace, there's a series of ley lines that goes across the fields and there's points where they cross over. And I mean, you got them all, didn't you?
Yeah.
It just, you can't explain why, but it just does, and it's fascinating. I mean, it's the whole little area around it. I mean, I've been up with quite a number of people, and everybody's come out of it scratching their heads as to what on earth's going on here.
A lot of energy, isn't there?
Yeah, and I mean, I've been up fairly late at night when there's a full moon, and I mean, to stand on the burial mound, it's very hard to explain, but there is something going on there that science can't actually explain at the moment.
Yeah.
But you can either accept it and stand there and just see what's going on, or you could run away screaming because it's like, whoa, can't deal with this. This is too freaky.
But that's natural instinct, right?
Yeah. That's the problem.
Do you feel afraid when you go there, or you're just like, no, I just know there's something going on, right?
Scared. I don't feel scared from it.
No, the only time, and it's happened a couple of times, and I was warned before I went up there, is that sometimes when it starts to go dusk, not when it's very late at night, but on the crossover where it's just starting to go dark, you'll suddenly feel it's time to leave. And if you get that feeling, like you leave within 30 seconds, don't hang around, just get out of there. And that's happened twice. And it was, although you know the site, when it happens, it's like, okay, I get it now. Yeah, I'm out of here.
Right. Don't have to tell me twice. I'm gone.
Yeah,
right.
It's just, you just know it doesn't want you there anymore, or there's something that's totally different. And it's gone from a really nice atmosphere to something that's like, don't need this. I'll come back another time. Very, very hard to put into words, but like you just feel it.
That's your intuition, of course. Yeah, exactly.
I think, like you've all said, I think when you go back in time, perhaps primitive man, those senses of self-preservation were much more highly developed, or everybody tuned into them because it was necessary to survive. But today it's been kind of either bred out of you or forced out of you because it's like not considered acceptable to be able to know or do these things, and you're the weirdo. But actually it isn't. It's the most natural thing on earth.
It is, and I think it's more widely accepted now. I think with, the help of television, obviously media, internet, people are, I think, evolving into who they're supposed to be. This is who we are, people. You've been suppressed your whole lives. This is what it's like to awaken.
Yeah, I mean, we had it. Carl, do you remember when the first time we went to Montségur? And we went to the hotel where Otto Rahn stayed.
Yeah, Madame Coogie.
Yeah. And we'd filmed a little bit, and then we were shown upstairs, which was the room that Otto Rahn had stayed in.
It was the room he just spoke, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the furniture, it's still pretty much as it was when Rahn was there. And the room was fabulous. It was nice. We took some photos in it. But then, do you remember, we went out onto the landing and both of us quite independently got this, right, we're out of here now. Right now, this very minute. It was some horrible, don't know, I mean, how would you describe it?
That's an
We just knew we had to go, and we didn't speak about it. We just looked at each other. Yeah. And we went, and when we did a post-mortem in the pub again after it, and then we discovered that we both felt exactly the same, and that's why we had to get out. But the lady whose house it was, she was a little girl when Otto Rahn stayed there. And she was a fabulous woman. She was telling us all about him, and saying he was a lovely man and all this stuff. And it's just amazing that there's still these places there with people still alive that are connected to the history like that, and
that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a privilege that to be in the job, to get the chance to meet those people.
Definitely.
It was really good. And Montségur, the walk up to the castle's fantastic. It looks quite formidable when you're in the car park at the bottom, and you think, what, we've actually got to walk up that? We're not getting like a Sherpa to pick us up on his back, or a helicopter. You think, I'm not walking up there, but we did walk it, and it takes about, I think, an hour 40 to get to the top.
You need a Sherpa.
But when we got to the top, it was freezing cold, wasn't it? But it was just, that's a place loaded with energy.
Yeah.
Oh, I can imagine. Tapped into there like a few times, actually.
That's electric place. That's going to be go-to place.
The Languedoc area itself is very much like, it's an energy like no other.
I mean, a lot of people have had some, I don't know if you call them weird or just odd experiences, either going up Montségur or actually within the castle walls itself. Lots and lots of them, haven't they? All seen either apparitions or picking up weird energies. I mean, the old lady at the hotel, she started to talk about it, didn't she? How referring to sort of the energy of the mountain or You know, it was very matter of fact. It was, well, yes, of course.
Yeah, the actual town's funny as well, which is right at the bottom of the castle, the Montefiore town, and there's a famous little chapel there with a black Madonna in it. And the chapel actually built half on the inside and half on the outside on the meteor that's in the ground, and it's got iron oxide, and it's got these. It's kind of what stones are made out of, and the whole town has got a very strange feeling about it, hasn't it?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I didn't find the town itself a very nice atmosphere. I thought it was a little bit creepy, if that's the right word.
It wasn't very inviting, was it? It wasn't like a place you go, "Oh, I want to stay here."
No, that's it. You go to a lot of little French villages, and it's welcoming and fun. And as soon as you walk in, it's just like, oh, this is great. This is really good.
Yeah.
Montefiore wasn't like that at all. It was like closed up, and you're an outsider. And
it was telling you to leave, wasn't it?
Yeah. Basically, go away. We don't want you.
You have to check it out again.
Definitely.
Yeah, maybe
you have to. Yeah. This is just a lot of changes going on there, and I think a lot of energy work, things like that. It might actually have a different feel for you now.
Maybe.
That would be a good validation. Oh, sorry, Amelia, go ahead.
Oh no, it's
Question?
okay. We're going to rewind just a little bit, Hamilton. Okay. Angel Q Dog again for you. I have a question for Hamilton. Do you sleep with your hat on? Do you have a collection of hats? Indiana Jones type hats look good on you. I'm thinking there's a little invitation coming from Angel Q Dog there.
Can I say?
You can find him on Facebook, Angel.
I don't know. It's just part of. I wear a hat. I wear the same clothes. That's what I do. I'm not good on changing things around. I'm uncomfortable with it. So
I love that.
They'll probably bury me in it, I would imagine.
You're unique. You're unique.
Possibly.
Yeah, when I first met Hamilton, I met him in Monaco, and I'd met him in the pub, you know, and I think after about the 5th or 6th time I met him, we're having a coffee in the cafe.
I don't believe that either.
He was having a meeting in Café de Paris, and I said, Hamilton, can I ask you a question? He said, yeah. I said, why do you always wear the same clothes? He goes, I don't. I said, you do? He goes, no. He said, I've got 30 of these shirts, and I've got 20 of these trousers, and I've got 3 of these hats.
I do want 3 hats. Yeah. You just gave it away, Hamilton. 3 hats? Come on.
He's got 3 hats.
You can let go of one.
I've still got in my shed all of my worn out hats that just sit on a shelf that eventually, you know, they get to the point they're rotting away, so I can't put them on my head. So they just sit in the shed. I mean, they're just there in a line.
So you don't do well with parting with things either, then? Cosmo, no, not at all.
There's a television show in the United States about that. Just saying.
You're never getting that hat, Amelia. I'm just saying.
Like a crab.
No, I don't want it if it's hanging in the shed.
I don't
want the
know.
one with his face on it.
We all find our own little comfort zones or whatever it is. And I don't know, I've just arrived in mine and I'm quite happy with it. I don't really see the point in changing the system around. It appears to work. Leave it alone.
It does work for you. Yeah, if it ain't fixed, why, or if it ain't broken, why fix it? Is that the old saying?
Exactly.
Yes.
You don't have to worry about things, whether you're going to funerals or weddings or wherever you're going, to the beach or skiing. Yeah. These are the clothes I wear. That's it. Nice and simple. Don't have to think about it. Problem solved.
I have to tell you something. Just knowing you and your personality, I couldn't see you dressed any other way. I think it's just
it wouldn't work.
So you.
No, it just
I think it's just perfect. It's perfect. It's who you are.
Thank you. Excellent. Yeah.
That's right.
You know,
We're done.
I don't do well with change. I like the sort of little routine and the system. It works. I get out uncomfortable and start twitching, and it just doesn't work. That's why I've got a problem with food. You know, if you present me with something, it just doesn't. It's out of the system. Don't want it. Leave me alone. I want to go and sit in the shed or something.
Sounds like a past life thing. You might need a regression, and actually, he's in the UK. We can recommend someone for you who could
to do what?
Do your past life regressions.
Oh, I don't fancy that. I really don't.
No.
Whatever I might have done in the previous life just doesn't really matter anymore, and I don't want it filling me head with clutter and no.
It might throw you off your like groove of just having things like amazing things find you.
Yeah,
it'll change your energy.
That's why they find him, because he lived those times.
Maybe. Well, yeah, every time.
No. I'm just quite happy being in blissful ignorance. I mean, we've run through people we've met while we've been doing this, and the number of people we've met that are reincarnations of goddesses, Madonnas, Maria Magdalenes. I mean, we could have them queuing up outside. You know.
Yeah, I mean, we've said this. It's everyone we meet has been reincarnated. No one's been a bricklayer or a shop assistant.
I've been poor in all of my lives. I've had struggles. That I can tell you. You'll never hear me say
someone that's done something very ordinary in the past life, rather than I was the boy in blue, or I was in the Vatican. I was a card.
I was an indigenous healer once.
I was born that.
Apparently, I've had like hundreds of lives. I'm like, I just can't get it right. So I don't think I could keep up.
I mean, could you be reincarnated from a slug or an animal or an insect?
The Buddhists believe you. Yeah, the Buddhists believe that you could be.
So you have to climb through the chain of intelligence to get to the human level, and then
I guess it depends how naughty you've been in the human life. You're coming back as a slug. That's it.
Some slugs are more intelligent than some human beings, I have to say.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Certainly.
So, yeah. So I see that differently. But I know one thing I have in common with my past lives is I was always an advocate for children. So I did find that common part, which explained a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. It explains a lot as to why I do what I do.
Are you planning on coming back again, or are you done this
time? Oh, God, I hope not. The whole thought of going back to school really pisses me off. I did well in school, but I hated it. So I really don't want to do it again.
No,
I love it, but that's not learning. That's monotony.
You know, you kind of, you think you do this trip, if what you're saying is true. So, you know, it takes you all your life and you get to like 60, 70 and you think, I'm quite happy with me knowledge. I'm quite happy with me setup. And then you die. And then they bring you back again with they've erased all your mind. So you have
That's
to start.
True. That's a cruel joke, isn't it?
It is.
You know, so
apparently we don't remember because we wouldn't be able. I mean, some do. Look at those, like, you know, little 3-year-olds that go around telling their current family that their old family lives in the neighboring village. But you know, I think it's because we're not meant to keep living all the losses that we've suffered, or longing for that love that, you know, we can't connect with this time around because maybe they didn't come back. Like, I understand why, you know, but it's our physical self that hinders us from remembering, because the subconscious holds it all. If you go for regression, you'll get it all.
Do you think, I mean, logically, if let's say you die and you go back to where we came from, or you wake up, when you die, you actually wake up. It's like, this is the dream. So you wake up and then you go, right, you're going to have to go back. So you come back. So when you wake up, you're in your turbocharged consciousness. You've got, you know, your complete consciousness then, because I think you come back here and it's like when you can throttle an engine where it can only use so much of its power. So you throttle consciousness and you come here and you only know X percentage of what you truly are as a celestial being.
Mm-hmm.
And you also don't know that nobody truly can prove that there's life after death. So that gives you doubt.
Maybe
and when
it's
you've got doubt,
life after life.
that's we all have doubts, and that's what's hard. But if everyone come back and didn't have any doubt and were completely clear that there's another place to go, what would happen if they're having a bad trip on this journey? They go, oh, I'm just going to commit suicide. I'll drive into that wall now. There'll be bodies everywhere because there's that many people not having a good trip in life. So they'll just go, well, I'll check out and rewind and come back, and it'll be like Lucky Dip, and hopefully I'll get like, I might be born into the Queen's family, or I might be born in this world. Do you know what I mean? So it'd be chaos if we actually truly confidently could say there's eternal life and we're eternal souls actually, and we're just here to acquire knowledge.
Science now says there is no death. They don't believe that there's death at all. They believe that the essence, obviously the body stops working, but so does your car eventually, But I mean, even when you sleep, your essence will leave the body. It's not going to hang out there for 12 hours. It's going to take off, and that's pretty much what they're saying it is. The body just goes down and the essence continues. So I think it's cool that science is actually taking, initiative on that.
They're struggling not to now because it was all the research with quantum physics. The lines are blurring between theology and science, and they don't really want to take the full leap and go, oh, guess what? This thing is,
in case they're wrong.
But a lot of them are faced with the prospect now where it's unavoidable. They've got to actually consider, if you're looking at some of the quantum physics where the same particle can exist in two places at the same time.
Yeah. Parallel universes and multiverses and
so anything's possible.
I know.
If you
see,
imagine,
you have to go out and find a time machine now. That's got to be another relic. Go find a time machine.
Get one.
Okay, so here's a hypothetical question. If you had a time machine, would you go back in past or would you go to the future? Just for fun.
I'd go to the future, I think.
Really?
Oh, difficult. No, I think I'd have to go backwards.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start with Carl first. Why would you go to the future? To come back and tell your past self do this? Or would you go to the future self and say, hey?
I wouldn't go to the future to see what my future would be like. I'd go to the future to see how the world's changed. I'm curious to see which direction it's going to go. I'd be fascinated to see how we survive all the challenges that were like what we're challenged today with COVID and all these despotic rules that are put in place on people. I'd like to see, did the people stand strong and not allow despots to drive them to lose all the sovereignty.
Right.
I'd like to see the technology and whether the technology is being used for good or whether it's being used against people. That's what I'm interested in the future, because I think about that now anyway, and I think
so just be like an edge. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
this next car.
That'd be nice. It'd be nice to see how transport evolves, but I don't like the look of it.
That.
But it looks like it's all going to be autonomous, doesn't it? And the government's going to decide what speed you go and what lane you're in, and if you're going too fast,
your cars won't even be allowed to go past a certain.
No, you won't be able to use fossil fuels.
Hamilton, you would go to the past. Where would you go? And why?
I don't want to go forward because I don't like technology. People keep inventing things that I don't understand and don't know how to use.
Right. Yeah.
I think you're almost at the point of you've run out of things that need inventing now. I mean, I don't know. I can't think of anything I haven't already got that anybody could invent that's worth having.
Right.
And, you look at pieces of electronic equipment and even cars now. you know, the seat moves when you get in it to fit you. It remembers your name when you can talk to make the radio come on.
Yeah. We like that when there's two people driving the same car. We like that. My daughter and I love that feature. Just push two. That's all I do.
To me, it's just unnecessarily complicated, and I don't want anything else like that around me. And I think I would just fit in better living in a mud hut or a cave or something. I would understand better what was going on around me. I think I'd find it more interesting.
The simplicity, quiet.
I could see Hamilton just sitting back and chilling with the Dalai Lama years back, though, not recent. Okay. I could see you doing that. Yeah.
I could give him a few lectures, certainly, on what he was doing wrong. Yeah, definitely.
Right, there we go.
I don't know. I mean, the times when we were like up at Carl's place, you know, you could believe you were back in the Middle Ages because you were sat on the same balcony. The views are exactly the same. You're living in rooms that haven't changed for 800 years.
Right.
You know, other than the props of the clothes you're wearing and the fact there's a TV downstairs, you can actually almost go back 500 years. And it's just very relaxing. And
isn't it wonderful?
The stresses of everyday life that you have, they're just not there. And I think if you could just disappear, no phones, no internets to be on all the time, you know, I just think it would be a lot less stressful.
It's grounding. Anywhere I travel in the world, I have to stay, you know, in the absolute oldest building I can find. I absolutely do. It's enlightening. It's grounding. It connects you somehow. It gives you that little piece, you know.
Yeah, totally agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't travel to the Caribbean because the last thing you want to do is be in the oldest building on that island.
Yeah, it's not old
that
enough.
Only applies to that only applies. No, but it's not even that. It's not a place you want to be. That only applies to the rest of the world. Yeah, if you hit the Caribbean, you want to be in the newest hotel.
I've been on the beach in the Caribbean and having a nice rum punch or something like that.
That would work. Yeah, that was.
Appleton and I become really good friends when I'm in the Caribbean.
There's nothing more rewarding, though, seriously, than waking up. You know, when I was in Malves is a small town in the south of France, I stayed in a building that shared a courtyard with a castle. There was only 800 people in this town. And it must have been at one time where the servants stayed, or where it could even have been the stables. Obviously, it's a hostel, beautiful. You know, they have their own wine, they have their own honey. Everything is wonderful. And the whole town saved up and bought the castle. And do you know, when I was there, they had it closed, and I became very friendly with the owners. And they're like, well, we're going to open it up for tours. The town has decided. I'm like, oh, please, can I have a sneak peek? She goes, I would give you one in a minute. But do you know that they had representatives of the Louvre there, and they had found the largest or the most well-preserved collection of Renaissance art, and they figure all of France, if not Europe. And it was on the walls, it was on the ceilings, and the Louvre was there to document it, photograph it, and to preserve it. Wow. And it had been closed off now. And I know they showed me photographs, and I was mind blown. But there was no better feeling. I mean, something was walking up and down the hall all freaking night. That was something. So I'm just like watching under the door. I can see the shadow of something, but yet you open the door, there's nobody there. It's like, all right, I feel at home. But honestly, you just open the shutters in the morning, and you're just looking at this amazing location that was from like 1200, and I'm like, this to me is just being a part of the environment. It's being you're a part of the experience.
Yep.
It's like when you look at, some of the Renaissance paintings, it shows the landscapes in Tuscany and across Europe, and the landscapes, the mountains are still there, all of these same topographical profiles are the same. So, when somebody's looking out of a castle today, they're looking at the same through the same eyes that the forefathers looked at. the same landscapes, and that is a fantastic. That's like time travel. You know,
It is. It is a form of time travel. But next time you guys are there, go check out Malv. It's like an hour from around the show. Malves.
Oh, right.
Malves. Malv.
Which district? Which province is it in?
Well, I mean, it's right in the middle of the language. It's just outside of Carcassonne.
Okay.
On the way, and an hour, I think, north of Androshock.
Yeah.
So, but it is part of Carcassonne, just literally outside of Carcassonne by 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the last bit of filming we just did up on the Spanish side of the Pyrenees, we're only really focusing on the sort of events during the war, really, the sort of pathways across the Pyrenees for people escaping from France into Spain.
Right.
But it's actually the same routes that it was the salt trade in the Middle Ages. Prior to that, it was still the passageways across the Pyrenees for the tribes, going back to the earliest occupation. None of it has changed for probably 5,000-6,000 years.
Right.
The layout of the land and everything. Once you get off road and up into the hills, there is no difference whatsoever for the last people who were there today, or the first cave dwellers who were there thousands of years ago. I mean, it's just fantastic.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I wish we could just keep doing this, but I mean, we've gone over, but it's 11:11. Whew! Good time to end the show. It's fantastic.
And I was explaining to Carl what angel numbers are in repetitive numbers.
That's right.
So yours should be reading 411. So you still have 11.
Right. Yes, but for us,
and 11's a good number.
But I'm thrilled that you guys came and joined us, and I am looking forward to seeing your new show, obviously, as a friend and a fan, of course. And I'm looking forward to, we'll have to talk about that and see what we're going to do with you guys. But of course, we're looking forward to having you back on.
We schedule to reappear. I've lost track of what we're doing and dates and times and everything.
You guys are going to have to figure that out. I don't even know. I just call it shenanigans. I don't really know what we're doing until we actually all get on screen. So, but, I know it's late, so thank you guys so much for joining us, and looking forward to doing it again. How does everybody find you? Promote. What do you have coming up, and how can people find you, communicate with you?
Well, we're on Facebook. We're on Facebook individually, and we're on with our Lost Relics of the Knights Templar group. I'm on Instagram, carlcookson.33 or carl.cookson.33, and Hamilton's. Is it Hamilton White? Yours on
Instagram? I think I'm Hamilton White Original, I think is what I am.
Okay.
Yes, you are.
But don't look for me for the next few days because I'm going camping. I'm specifically going where nobody can find me.
You're taking a metal detector?
No. I'm taking my tent. I've got a rucksack full of crisps and bits and pieces, and I've got 2 or 3 books, and I'm not coming back till I've read them.
Good for you.
So for the next few days, nobody will find me. I'm in the forest.
I wish I could do that. I'm completely jealous right now.
Good for you.
Right. Wow. Okay.
I've spent the last 2 days.
I admire people that can do that. I wish I could, but I just, that's amazing. Good for you.
Yeah.
What are you taking? What books are you taking? Can you tell us?
Say again?
What kind of books are you taking?
I've got 3 history books. I've spent the last 2 days in a friend of mine's library trying to find some specific references to Middle Eastern art. And he's lent me some books which I need to sit and actually try and get myself up to speed on the topic, which it's very uninteresting, but it's just something I need to educate myself on. And the only way I'm going to do it is go away and sit there and don't come back till I've read them, or I'll just have them, they'll be sat on my desk here like this, not being looked at.
No distractions.
So I've just got to go and do it.
I understand that. Good for you. Enjoy yourself and really take in every moment.
Definitely. So I should be doing that. But after about Monday, yes, you can find me back on the internet on Instagram, or where else are we? Did we say Facebook? We're on, aren't we, the group?
Yeah.
Oh, no, guys. Okay. Well, you take care of yourselves. I won't say behave because I know it won't happen. So
Thank you very much for inviting us
Cool.
on. We enjoy it as much as you tell us you enjoy it with us, but it's brilliant, and thanks to all your audience for taking the time to have an interest in what you're doing and what we're doing.
Thank you.
We appreciate it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love having you guys.
Looking forward to the next time.
Definitely. No, it's easy.
Take care, guys. Good night.
Bye.
Happy slumber.
Bye.
Bye now. Well, we've come to the end of another fantastic segment here on the Outer Realm. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to our amazing special guests and friends, Carl Cookson, Hamilton Wife, the Lost Relic Hunters. Thank you to our producer, Joe Montaldo, for manning the fort behind the scenes. Huge thank you to Folgers Coffee for sponsoring us for this evening and every evening. Please remember to stop by the Paranormal or UFO Paranormal Radio, International Paranormal, or International Public, my God. Anyway, subscribe. While you're there, head on over to Facebook, head on over to Instagram, follow us on the Outer Realm. If you'd like to contact us, please go to the Outer Realm Contact at gmail.com, outerrealmcontact@gmail.com. Now, next week is going to be a whole lot of fun and a little bit different. I have a feeling this is something that's never going to be done again. I think Amelia and I lost our minds, but somehow we have agreed to let our producer, Joe Montaldo, completely take over the show, our show. And he's going to be interviewing Amelia and myself. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be great. And of course, Thursday night, we welcome back another good favorite guest and friend, Preston Dennett, with his new book, touching on all kinds of new stories. So until then, don't forget Joe and I on the Gray Zone Uncensored this Saturday, 5 till 7 p.m. Central and 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. So have a good weekend, and we shall see you guys next week.